Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on Thursday. It is August 24th, 2017. Going to look at races 1 and 9 from Saratoga, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. The first race is featured, actually, it's the, for the jumps at least, it's the New York Turf Riders Cup Handicap. It's a great race. So I'm going to give you a pick for that, and I'm going to give you a pick for the featured flat race, the 9th race, the risk averse. So let's get on to it. Races 1 and 9. The first race from Saratoga is featured. It's the 76th running of the New York Turf Riders Cup Handicap. Grade 1, purse $150,000. It's to be run over national fences. A hurdle handicap for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 12 horses, a dozen of them, going the distance of ground here of 2 miles and 3/8 over the jumps course, which is also the inner turf course. 2 miles, 3 furlongs, 2 miles, 3/8, whatever you want to go by. I have no idea what it is in meters today, so usually don't follow races that much in meters this high. But, this has always been a good race. You always see prices in this one. And my top pick, I like the number 3 horse, Portrait. I'm going to go 3-2-7-11 in the TriCast of the trifecta. Or excuse me, 3-2-7-11 in the superfecta, not the trifecta. 3-2-7-11 super. My top pick, number 3, Portrait. 6-1, gets Doll in the saddle for Elizabeth Voss, who trains this 8-year-old gelding at a trade fair. This horse has run a few times this year and hasn't won, but he ran out of the 3 races, ran 1 good race. I'll get to that in a second. But last time out, Saratoga, July 27th in the A-Pace Smith Memorial, the pep race for this race. This horse finished 4th by 23 lengths. It was the horse's first start in nearly 3 months, so might have needed the race. Was with the leaders early on, then kind of weakened out of it. Disappointing beat, but he hit the wall very badly. I think today, second off the layoff with the longer distance where they go a little bit slower, this horse should have a very good run. Start before the 20th of May, 2 miles and 3/8 in the National Hunt Cup Handicap. Horse finished 4th by 8 1/4 lengths. Was with the leaders early on and then kind of weakened out of it. Maybe it just wasn't his day to win. And then the Group 3 over the hurdles at 2 miles and a half. Horse finished 2nd by a neck. Was with the leaders most of the race. Just missed the head bob, but it wasn't a half bad run. That was his best race of the year. Before that, he in 2016, he ran pretty well. His last start of the year, he had a decent 3rd place finish at Grand Meadow, I believe in Virginia, 2 miles and 1/8 over the hurdles in the Ferguson Memorial. Horse finished 3rd by 13.5 lengths. Was with the leaders early on, but didn't weaken out of it. He just stayed there. He showed some heart that day, and then ran this race last year, and he won it by a length on the lead all throughout at 12-1. Great run that day, and that was his second off the layoff. Before that, in the AP Smith with last year, he finished 3rd. He set the pace early on, and then hit the wall in the straightaway. Going around the far turn actually. Disappointing beat, but he needed that race. I'm going to use the same theory like he did last year, where he needed that race, the Smithwick last year, to win this race last year. So I think he'll run a big one here today. Low weight of 146 pounds. Watch out for this one here today. So to recount my bets for the first from Saratoga, it's 76th running of the Grade 1 New York Turf Riders Cup. Going to go with the 3-horse Portrait. I'm going to go 3-2-7-11 in the TriCast, in the Superfecta. 3-2-7-11 Superfecta. To race number 9 now from Saratoga, 9th race, the featured flat race. It is the 9th running of the Risk Averse Stakes, purse $100,000. It's for fillies 3-year-olds, which have never won a sweepstakes or an overnight stakes here. Field of 15 horses to 13 through 15 are also eligible, so only 12 could go. The distance of ground here, 1,600 meters, or 1 mile on the inner turf course. 1 mile, 1,600 meters. My top pick in this one, very, very wide open race. I like the number 5 horse, Bernard, as a top pick. I'm going to go 5-12-7-9 in the superfecta. 5-12-7-9 super. Top pick number 5, Bernard. 12-1, Rajiv Marag for Grand Motion, who trains a 3-year-old filly out of Bernardini. She's making her turf debut today. I think she should really like the turf. You should really like the distance also. But most recently, though, 23rd of July at Saratoga, mile and 8th in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Horse finished 4th by 10 1/4 lengths that day. Abel Tasman ran a hell of a race, and so Elate, who ran 2nd, ran a hell of a race to win next start out also last week in the Alabama. This horse was just a little bit wide that day. closed up a tiny bit, but with the wide post draw going a mile and 8 that day at Saratoga, this horse wasn't really winning. I think today going a mile here with the 5-hole going a mile on the turf course is pretty nice, and with that post draw, she could maybe save some ground, and I think she could get a good closing kick. I like the way she could kind of run. She could sit a little bit, third or fourth in the spot, and I really like it, and I think she could pounce in the straightaway. But finished fourth last time out. Before that, 2 weeks earlier in Delaware Oaks at Delaware Park, mile 16, July the 8th, horse finished fifth by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and she was closing a little bit at the end, but it was a little bit too late. It wasn't enough to really say she did well. It was off a layoff also. Her start before May 20th at Monmouth, 1 mile optional 50 claimer. This horse won by 2 1/4 lengths. It was her best race of the year. She quickened up nicely and had a very easy walk in the park that day. Great race for this horse. And then as a 2-year-old, she finished 7th in the Starlet against a little bit tougher at Los Al, and then finished 2nd in the Tempted at Aqueduct last year, 2nd by 3/4 length behind Miss Sky Warrior. She closed up well. Like I said, I think she'll sit a little bit closer here today. Like I said, turf shouldn't be a problem. She's been training well. Watch out for this one. So to recap my bets for the 9th from Saratoga, it's the 9th risk averse. Going to go with the 5 horse here, Bernard. Going to go 5, 12, 7, 9 in the superfecta. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5. Good luck.